Hey everybody, today I've got a Panther match for you on Mines, platooned up with Eddie. Mines isn't really a map I enjoy playing in the Panther. It doesn't have any particularly long sight lines I can shoot across from long range. It doesn't have a whole lot of genuinely useful arty cover in a position where I can still fire from. But in this case, not really too badly screwed. The enemy top tiers aren't very good, and most of the tanks in the match are actually tier 7s, with a couple of tier 6s to round it out, and an ELC on our team. First things first, I go hold down behind this rock and look up towards the hill for shots. The bush in front of me provides some camouflage, although the Panther, being the size of a barn, is very, very difficult to hide. Our team begin advancing up the hill. Not really expecting to get many shots up there, depending on what their mediums do. Their light tanks get up there way before I'm in position, and it looks like their mediums aren't actually trying for the hill, otherwise they would have pushed up by now. The AMX M4 actually gets up without being lit because all our guys retreat around the corner where they can't see. And although I'm able to get a quick shot into the enemy Tiger as he carelessly pokes around that rock, there's not really a lot I can do from this position, and I do get spotted. E25 is getting absolutely beaten up on by those two tanks to his left side, the 3002 DB and the other E25. Since there's not a lot I can do here at the base of the hill, I decide to go out and help him and then work the west flank, which is not something I'm used to, so I get lucky there. And actually that nicks the bottom corner of my turret. If that had been an inch lower, it would have penned me and done about 300 damage. Wait a second for the JP to retreat, and I continue pushing across. I get lit again. This is the problem with trying to cross flanks on mines. It's just so open, you're lit the whole way and you're liable to get shot the whole way. The E25 actually is still alive and has managed to knock most of the hit points off of these guys, so it's just left to me to help him clean up. JP pops out, I take a snapshot, doesn't hit. He does actually hit me, and this time he pens. Now I begin heading to the corner of the map here. This is a spot I used to use a lot in old school NDP clan wars, however I'm in a Panther, not a T54, and so it's not going to work. This only occurred to me after I got into position and was still being dunked on by the AMX and the Bulldog. Excuse me while I try and get this replay to not stutter. Thankfully the Bulldog changes targets, and so I managed to survive that engagement, but only just. I'm left with 48 hit points, not good. I move up and get a shot into the enemy Panther, and manage to get a second right as he kills the E25. Not quite quick enough to save my little TD friend. The JP pushes over, he's really getting aggressive, but he bounces because he hits me right in the gun mantlet. I'm able to put one shot into him that pens, and then my gun starts killing dirt. At this point I am kind of pushing on him. I want to try and scare him into the open when T71 correction can carousel him. I don't want to drive in front of the SU-152, but I would like to get shots on him. He goes for the T71, he misses, or at least fails to kill it. And so I begin dumping a couple blind shots into his last seen position. At this point our team's starting to fall apart, and so pretty soon I'm going to have to relocate again. This flank is useless while they still have those two TDs up. They can easily cover the approach to their base, and there's no way either myself or the T71 will be able to get across there without being blown up. Even if I had full health, I wouldn't want to cross that, but with 48 hit points, it's not even worth trying. As Eddie goes down, our team looks ever more likely to collapse. So I begin to work my way back down the western flank. My aim here is to try and get around from a different angle where I can hit these guys on the hill, preferably from outside their spotting range. Somewhere back along the J or K lines, if I can. Panther struggles a bit in the sand, but eventually I manage to get around. The ISU is actually heading for the hill, which is really the best place for him to head. It allows him to project firepower across the whole map. And unfortunately my shot does not hit. I should have let it aim in for longer. He backs away, my second shot misses. And that's my chance at hitting the ISU gone. My shot at the Tiger flies over his engine deck. He also gets up the hill unmolested. However, I wasn't lit doing that, and the two guys in front of me have a large pile of rocks and a cliff between myself and them, so I should be okay to sit in this position without being spotted and murdered, at least for a little while. I do get one shot into the Tiger. He begins pulling back. He obviously didn't like that, but our T-34 manages to clean him up. My shot at the T-20 flies a bit too far out to the left. The T-32 finishes him. And the T-32 starts getting dunked on by the T-25 and on base, which the IS should have gone after long ago. I go for the ISU, unfortunately hit a rock, and he's back in cover now. I can't really hit him there. 12T similarly is in cover behind rocks. I have to wait for them to pull out. If I try and pull out around the corner, I'm going to be in the water, and if I'm in the water and they start pushing on me, I can't possibly get away. They'll spot me, they'll kill me. I have to stay on solid ground. I have to stay as far back as I possibly can at the moment. I have to keep cover on my left side. And I have to keep a very close eye on what's going on in the map. If that T-25 starts threatening my position, I need to move. Thankfully, he's distracted by the IS still. He's fighting uphill towards it. And there's still solid cover between myself and his position. At this point, the T-32 begins bad-mouthing me and the T-71, telling us we need to get in a fight. Now, at this stage, I have seen more fight than most of my team. I don't take too kindly to terrible players giving me advice, particularly if it's really stupid advice. If I leave this island, I will get spotted, I will die. As it is, I got spotted there, and I'm lucky that the ISU was pulling back, having just fired. If he was loaded and in position, he may well have finished me instead of the T-34. I'm typing, that's why I crashed into that rock. Not too happy about that T-32 trying to backseat drive me. I don't mind it if a player who's better than me or of similar skill to me tells me what to do. It's handy having somebody sometimes, an extra set of eyes maybe, or another mind to think differently to yours, but when it's a terabad and they're trying to give me awful advice which I know is going to get me killed, no, just don't, please. Besides which, if I'd given him pro tips, I'm sure I would have got the same response out of him. It's just the SU left. He could easily finish this as a win if he played his cards right. However, he doesn't manage to get the T-71, who whizzes under the cover of a building, spots him for me, and it looks like the SU-152 actually has the 122mm gun, which actually makes him more of a threat, considering how low we all are in hit points. But the T-71 is now in a very strong position. He's right under the hill there. All he has to do is make the last dash about 50 meters across that square and actually get up under the hill where he can proxy the SU-152 and flush it out of cover, force it out. So there it is. It actually flushed itself out and got proxied. Or at least I think it got proxied. I don't believe that was me that lit him. Take the last shot blind. It doesn't kill him, but I know he's hurting. Not hurting much, actually. It seems I missed a lot of those shots. Turns into a waiting game now. I have to wait for the SU-152 to give away his advantage. At the moment, because he's behind that rock, because he has all that camo, and because he has more hit points, he holds the initiative. But he just threw it away. And a shot actually deviates almost outside of the circle but gets me to kill. That should not have hit. Ends up being a 5-kill game in the Panther. About 1600 damage. Don't know if I scooped up any blind. It's not the hugest Panther game I've had. I've had several Panther games up in the 2000, 3000 range. But it was a pretty stressful game. I was pretty relieved when we finally won it. And it does show something a little different than what I normally do on this map. It also goes to show you, make sure you're paying attention to which tank you're in before you go to some sneaky ass clan wars spot you know from 2-3 years ago. That spot hasn't changed, but the Panther is a lot bigger than the T-54. It doesn't work in a Panther. Anyway, thank you for watching. As ever, best of luck, and I will see you next time.